questions that you'll hear today were submitted by the community. The candidates will each have an opening and a close, 2 minutes each in length. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for answers. The first person to answer will have an option for rebuttal of 30 seconds. They will have an option for that. They do not have to give a rebuttal, but will have an option to do so. Once the 2-minute point is reached on questions, on answers to questions, no more discussion will be allowed except for they will be able to finish the statement that they are in at that time, finish that sentence when the 2-mark point is reached. The last candidate to give their opening statement will be first to answer the first question. Then we will rotate after that who answers each question first. And as James stated, we do ask that the crowd remains silent during the forum so we can hear our candidates completely their answers to each question. Judge McCollum won the coin toss, so he is going to give his opening first. And with no further delay, we want to get to our candidates. Let's go ahead and give them a round of applause.
Let me say thank you to the Rotary Club, and I've been looking forward to this for some time. What I want to do is tell you we've got a very positive report for the condition of your county today. We have a promising report of your county going forward into the future. Today, your county is one of the very few totally debt-free counties in America. And Tuscaloosa County is one of the strongest counties in America with adequate reserves to meet any emergency. We are one of the most prosperous counties in America. The unemployment rate in Tuscaloosa County has been lower than the state and national average every year since the year 2000. And back further than that, if you want to go beyond a decade. In my years of service, I have passionately worked to bring new industry to our county, to expand existing industry and create jobs. You see, prosperity begins in the free enterprise economy which underlies the government. Government can only grow when the underlying economy grows. If government grows faster than the underlying economy, one of two things can happen. Taxes have to be raised, or the government has to borrow money to cover its shortfalls. When I took office, the county had to borrow money to make the payroll. But year after year of balanced budgets, we have positioned your county where it is today, growing and no new taxes, and secure for a downturn in the economy. When the recession of 2001 and 2008 hit this economy hard, we were able to weather the storm without reduction of government services, without a layoff of public employees, and without raising taxes or borrowing money. I might add to those comments that maintaining reserve for emergencies does not mean that government is hoarding money. To the contrary, we're spending more each year on public safety, the county roads and bridges, parks and recreation, library, but where it is important, we are increasing expenditures in line with the growing economy by not borrowing or reducing services or raising taxes. And that is the key formula for prosperity and progress.
I'm Chet Sexton, the Republican nominee for probate judge. Thanks to the Rotary Club and Ms. Terry Brewer for conducting this debate. I appreciate the support of my fellow Rotarians over the last 28 years. So why am I running for probate judge? Because we can do better. On the whole, our county still lags behind the city and the university. The county has not advanced in the way it should. And believe me, folks, advancement is all about leadership. With Dr. Witt and Coach Saban, we've all seen what innovative leadership has meant to this county. The probate judge serves as the chairman of the county commission, and our current county commission is bogged down in infighting and indecision. It's because the commission needs a chairman who can get things done, not just talk about what happened 20 years ago. We can't live in the past. We need leadership today. When you elect me probate judge, I pledge to do the following. Maintain conservative fiscal policies, and with the commission, make smart strategic investments to grow our county. Create jobs by buying local. We'll hire engineers and contractors instead of sending huge sums of money to folks down in New Orleans. lower our unacceptable high unemployment rate by partnering to diversify our economy and recruit high-tech, high-paying jobs. Restore trust and accountability in county conservator so money will never again be stolen from our most vulnerable citizens. Modernize and integrate our 911 system in order to prevent needless tragic deaths. Make sure that criminals who failed drug tests in the community corrections program, which has been under the direct control of the probate judge, will be put in jail, not set free to shoot and rob our citizens. We'll televise community correction meetings, hold one meeting in the evening, and enable taxpayers to do their business online. I'm confident we can do better. And that's why I'm running. I've done it as sheriff, and I'll do it as your probate judge. Thank you.
All right, for our first question, what are the 3 most important issues facing Tuscaloosa County? And briefly, how do you intend to address them if elected?
Well, I would definitely say number 1 is the economy, our economic base, to expand our economic base, to diversify our economic base. We need to continue to pursue jobs. We need to buy local. We need to partner with the University of Alabama and others, our municipalities, to grow our economic base. We need to partner with Jim Page and the Chamber. We need to participate in programs like the Business Incubator, which the city of Tuscaloosa and the university participate in, but the county is not a partner. We need to continue our efforts on workforce development. We need to modernize. Number 2 would be modernize our 911 system. We need to save lives. We need to put a bridging system in immediately. We need to be able to share call information, hazards. We need to be able to track where the closest unit is by automatic vehicle locating system. We need to be able to get the closest unit to the scene immediately. And then roads and traffic plan. We need to be able to work on the roads in the roads are crumbling in 50 neighborhoods. We had miners on the north side of the county that were having trouble getting to work, and we could not get the plan implemented. We still have those 50 neighborhoods that have not had the issue solved. And then, of course, the traffic plan. We have no strategic traffic plan for the entire county. And those would be my top 3 issues.
Sound like more than 3. But let me say this, in my opinion, our top 3 issues are job creation, continuing to expand our economy. I think that we have a proven record of doing that, and I think it's important. But part of that component in job creation is expanding our workforce development. It is something that we need to invest in within the community through through the 2-year colleges, the University of Alabama, continue to partner with them to ensure that we have a well-trained, developed workforce that will ensure that we can bring the high-tech, the quality jobs to our community. I think that those are 2 of the things that I think that are extremely important. The third thing in priorities is continuing to work on traffic improvements, infrastructure improvements. We still have issues, as you know, with Highway 69 South, Highway 69 North. We're doing studies to determine what can be done to improve traffic. We're pushing to get the eastern bypass completed, and those are priorities that I think that are necessary to ensure that the community continues to grow. There we go.
30-second rebuttal.
I would like to point out information that I will make available at the end of this debate. But the United States Census Bureau shows that our poverty rate is one of the highest in the state. Our mean individual income is one of the lowest in the state. And our household mean income is one of the lowest in the state. That's why continuing to grow our economic base is so important.
What is the county's role in economic development and job creation?
Tuscaloosa County is a key partner with the City of Tuscaloosa, Northport, University of Alabama, Shelton State, other existing industries in the state of Alabama, and bringing industry and job to our community. Over the last, my entire public service has been dedicated to bringing jobs to this community. Many of you know it goes all the way back to JVC, coming forward to Mercedes and all the suppliers that we've interacted with and helping to locate in Tuscaloosa County. We continue to try and work to bring infrastructure that would facilitate. We're working on a project, I spoke with Darrell Longrear just today, working with a 400 job prospect that will be located near the Mercedes plant. But it's a collaborative effort, and your county government is at the forefront of ensuring that we have not only the resources available to take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves, but also to provide leadership in working with the CEOs of these companies to convince them to locate in Tuscaloosa. And I've done that. I've got the experience to continue to do that.
Thank you. I believe it is incumbent that we continue to build collaborative relationships. I mentioned a few that we're not involved in my opening statement. We need to make sure and ensure that we engage and we develop those partnerships. Senator Shelby has brought millions of dollars to the University of Alabama, and we need to bring the University of Alabama to the forefront in continuing to develop our economic base and continuing to bring in the jobs. Now, I brought up the issue of our mean individual income and our mean family income. We have got to do better. We have to work towards bringing better jobs here, continuing to bring higher paying jobs, to be able to reduce, in some case, the poverty rate and increase our mean individual and household income. We also can't forget the businesses and industries that are already here. One of the industries that has talked to me has been our roofing industry. They say there's a serious need to bring additional flatbed transport to this area by means of trying to get a Walmart distribution center or some sort of distribution center that would use flatbed vehicles. They tell me that they're spending almost double the transport price to be able to get their goods to market, as well as bringing new industry into our area. We need to make sure that we support those that are already here. Thank you.
Would you like a rebuttal?
Yes. I think it's important. I don't know that we need to beat up on it, but our unemployment rate is the real indicator of our economy. And our sales tax growth is the indicator of the growth in your community. Both of those in Tuscaloosa County are positive. We have one of the lowest unemployment rates in Alabama. We're below the national average, we're below the state average, and consistently have been there.
What are the most pressing issues currently facing the probate judge's office?
Well, I would say again the economy and the role and responsibility that the probate judge has in appointing with the commission persons to IDA and to other key and critical components and committees throughout the county. But one of the issues I would hope that our probate judge office addresses is that our unemployment rate for those that are between 18 and 24 is pushing 20%. So what opportunities do our persons between 18 and 24 have? That should be one of our primary concerns, to make sure that we continue to address that. I think that you have read in the Tuscaloosa News, and it's been discussed, the conservatorship. Definitely a number one issue I think that we need to address. We've had 2 people go to federal prison from the conservator program. The person that was appointed behind the conservator that went to prison was trained by the same conservator that went to prison. When she came into office, she took $100,000 from a ward. Presiding judge said, put it back. If you and I went to Walmart and took a TV, brought it back a few days later, we'd go to jail. That's a pressing issue. I think that we also, the third one, I would say community corrections. We have to complete the transfer of community corrections to the community board, make sure it's well funded, ensure that all programs are addressed, including mental health court.
I'll try to use this time in somewhat of a rebuttal, because when we talk about the conservatorships in Tuscaloosa County, let me first say the conservator of the case that's in question was not appointed by your probate judge, number one. Number two, it wasn't in my court, it's in circuit court. The employee that's being referred to was not my employee. So I make it very clear to this audience that, we've got to be a little more forthright with the facts, as opposed to indicating that that there's a lot going awry in the probate office. Let me say this: every case in your probate court, every case is bonded. It's insured. There is not one penny of money missing from probate court because they are insured. And those of you that are in that bonding business know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, let me say, as it relates to our community corrections program. Our community corrections program, there was a federal judge that heard the same allegations that were made against the individual, and the female federal prosecutor threw those cases out. Now, having said that, as a judge, we need to be very judicious in the way we deal with issues before us, not to discuss cases that have not gone to court. Someone has to be given their opportunity, accused and accuser, to have their day in court.
Would you like to rebuttal?
Most definitely. The probate judge does not hear criminal cases. He's the CEO of the county, and therefore accountability means everything. Here's the Borso indictment: sodomy, attempt sodomy, extortion, sexual abuse, and misuse of his office. Here is the transcripts from open testimony in court on this particular case. I'm going to give these out afterwards. I urge you to read them. And here is the blank check that our judge gave our conservator. Here's an order with no style on it. These are all going to be available at the end of this afternoon, so you can read them.
What role should the county play in the funding of schools?
As you know, Tuscaloosa County levied a 1-cent temporary sales tax to fund education. That is the only taxing mechanism that your county government has at its disposal. It's really strange when county government can levy a tax for education, but we can't levy a tax to build a jail or to build roads. But that being what it is, we did that in order to eliminate portable classrooms, to ensure the building programs for new schools went forward. And I think it's been a very successful endeavor. Your county commission continues to support where we can, whether it's building roads to schools, whether it's paving parking lots. We support education, and we will continue to support education in those ways in which we can, and which will be proper for us to engage ourselves in. There's the discussion, and always has been, about property taxes. Well, we all know that property taxes, it may be the best way to fund education and give it stability. Sales tax is not it's a regressive tax, and it's probably not real smart of me to sit up here and talk about taxes. But we all know that in order for education to be on the sound funding that it should be, we've got to address the tax base from which education is funded, not only locally, but more importantly at the state level. There you go.
We have an interesting issue coming up in 2016, and that will be the ad valorem tax referendum, the equalization question. I believe we need to make sure that we reach out to both school boards, that we assess their needs, prioritize their needs, support them where applicable. As mentioned, the school board is the one who has the governmental ability to reach out for funding. The question is, where should we be supporting them? Now, I think that one of the areas that we can reach out and give additional support to the schools would be in putting together a private governmental partnership to address the vocational and technical education programs so that we can build our workforce not only for now, but in the future. And again, be able to have that skilled workforce available for when these high-tech, high-paying jobs are recruited and brought to Tuscaloosa County.
Rebuttal. Describe the type of leadership and management style that you would bring to the probate judge's office.
Maybe we need to get a basketball possession.
I'll use the spoon.
Now, Terry, the question was difference?
Type of leadership and management style you would bring to the probate judge's office.
Yes, ma'am. Well, it would be the same one that I use every day. Collaborative. I work very closely with our command staff. Ron Abernathy is here today as a gift, and I believe that he could attest to you very easily that we believe in accountability, accessibility, that we empower people to do their job, allow them to move forward. I'm the type of person that likes to get things done, and I recognize when somebody is involved in exceptional service, always rewarding, always prompting, doing what we can to have people go forward. When an issue arises, we don't let it go by without addressing it. We will bring in the necessary resources, the necessary personnel to sit down and address that issue. We will fix the issue. We will address it by policy. We will address it by training and continue to move on. I would explain to you or use as an example that back in 2008, we had a sergeant at the jail that we received a complaint on for excessive force. It was investigated. It went before a disciplinary board. She was terminated, all within 30 days. She went through the appeal process with the Civil Service Board, and we still self-reported to the FBI. Unfortunately, that individual was involved in a criminal matter. The FBI investigated and found it to be a criminal civil rights violation, and she's currently in federal prison. But we will even take those issues on ourselves to try to solve the issue, and if necessary, self-report.
Management style. I'm one of those that believes in hiring good people and let them do the job. I've always subscribed to that theory, and I'm blessed, and I can say Tuscaloosa County is blessed to have good supervisors, department heads working in Tuscaloosa County. Bobby Hagler is the county engineer and public works director. He's sitting here, and I think he'll tell you I do not micromanage our staff. I don't lord over people. I expect to hire good people. I hold them accountable, and I ask them to perform at the highest level and bring their expertise, of which they were hired to bring, to their job. That is my style. My style is also not to throw money at solving problems. I take a step back most of the time. I assess situations because money is not always the answer, as we all know. But that's basically a management style of being very conservative, but also decisive. But you got to be measured. As you all know, as a judge, you should be measured. You should be measured and judicious and showing good judgment in your decision-making process.
Accountability was mentioned. I would have to come back and once again mention the neighborhoods and the subdivisions. Those bonds were allowed to lapse by the county. The county did not follow up on that. I had to go back to community corrections. I want to introduce you to Sean Smith sitting in the back. Would you hold your hand up, Sean? Sean was the individual who was shot last February. It's in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. The conservatorship program, accountability is definitely needed in our county government.
In your opinion, what is the correct level of reserves for Tuscaloosa County government to maintain and why?
I don't know that you can measure it and quantify it in a specific amount, but I will say that we have had adequate reserves to meet any emergency that we've been faced with. We have reserves today that amount to about 6 months of the county's operating budget that is available to meet any of the emergencies that we may need, whether it's a failing bridge or a tornado that destroys neighborhoods and infrastructure, or if it's in fact the ability to lure a new industry into your community and being able to expend funds on the necessary infrastructure to ensure that they will locate into your community. That is creating jobs, having those resources available. But I think that it is necessary for government to have adequate reserves. I think we understand, I understand, you understand. Government is a tax consumer. Government is not a taxpayer. And therefore, it's important to approach government in that way. First of all, your county government doesn't have taxing authority. We have to grow the pie. When there's a downturn, then we have to rely on our reserves in order to ensure that we aren't placed in a position to where we have to cut services or lay our employees off.
I believe that we need to maintain a 6-month operational reserve, and additional funds should be invested through smart strategic planning with the commission. The Bible even tells us to do things like this. In Luke 19:12 through 27, in the parable of the talents, it's not a sin to make those investments. And certainly if it's good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for me. I want to talk a little bit about something that most of you know, my father-in-law, Leroy. He has a country way of kind of putting things. And he said the reserve sitting over in a corner, kind of like being in a barn and having manure stacked. Said it can sit there and do nothing, or you can identify areas that you need to grow, and you can sprinkle a little of that around, and it'll grow anything. Quoted by Leroy McAbee. So, the reserve is a wonderful thing to have. We need to protect the reserve, and we need to use it when necessary, and we have issues that come that we need to deal with. But I think that we need to be able to look at making strategic investments that will grow the county.
Yeah. I love that manure analogy there. But let me say this. Ensuring reserves and having reserves is extremely important to county government. Those reserves ensure that we can, in fact, if there is a need with your road system, with education, with economic development, that they're there. And guess what? They're being depleted very rapidly right now.
11 people, and then we had the storm of April 27th, 2011, which everyone in this room remembers, and many of you were involved in in helping in the response. I think many of the things that we have learned from our previous tornadoes and setting up a mutual aid team after 2001 and making strategic investments in life-saving equipment paid off for us on April 27th. We found ourselves in an overwhelming position. We didn't have to wait on equipment to come from other areas of the state. I think as you drive down Crescent Ridge Road today, I think we have some concerns about just how far have we come. And with my DHS experience, I definitely think there's some things that we could have done differently to assist us in the recovery to be able to do more.
You know, I'm very proud of this community and serving the public safety as well as the public works employees in their response on April 27th. They did an outstanding job. I can't say enough for them. We were so much further ahead in our recovery in the county than some other areas, mainly because of the experience and the cooperation with law enforcement, with the first responders, along with our public works. The roads were cleared that allowed emergency vehicles to get into areas and do the research, do the search and rescue, and respond to the needs of our citizens. And I think, and I'll give our public safety and our public works employees my kudos, and I have on many occasions, because they went above and beyond and did a really outstanding job for this community.
I am remiss, and I appreciate Judge McCollum bringing it up, and that is the fact that Bobby Hager and Public Works, and again the contractors that were here, and also looking out here and seeing Mark Cruz and the outstanding job that Alabama Power Company did in restoring power to an area that was decimated. Thank you.
Are there any additional services that you would like to provide to county residents and believe the county could provide to county residents?
As you know or may not know, the county has gotten into the dog catching business lately, and we've gotten into litter control, and we've gotten into some other areas of providing services in the county. One of the areas that we continue to explore, and I think at some point in time it's going to be necessary when it is feasible for us to be in the sanitary sewer business. Because there are certain areas in the county that the only way that they will be able to develop and grow is with sanitary sewer. A lot of the areas have soil conditions that makes that virtually impossible to grow. So that's one of the areas that I think that the county should look at. We have looked at it, and where it's feasible, we've partnered with the city, but we've also partnered with developers in putting in sanitary sewer systems in and around Tuscaloosa County in the rural areas where you can't get the existing city sewer system. But that's one area.
I would agree with the sanitary sewer situation, but I think one of the things that we need to do is to survey our citizens and get a good baseline on what type of service do they feel we're providing now. What kind of service level do we have for our basic services that we provide? In regards to, we have the road situation in the subdivisions. We have folks without water in the northern part of the county. We have issues that need to be addressed, and I talked about the modernization of our 911 system. I think we need to make those upgrades immediately. I would also like to talk about our website. If you go to Tusco.com, we got a nice shot of the stadium, and we have our commissioners up there, but we don't have a whole lot of information. This is the world's window, and the window that they're looking at our county. And I believe everybody in this room has knowledge of how much it costs to do this. So somewhere about $5,000 or so, we could develop a very nice website. But within this website, we also ought to be able to make sure that you can do county business, that you can get transcripts and and minutes of county commission meetings so that you can search issues and find out about what's going on in your community. We need to enhance our transparency. We ought to have one commission meeting at night, and we ought to televise them so that you have better information about what goes on in your county government.
Tuscaloosa has, what, 3, 4 TV stations. It covers your commission, 2 newspapers. We attempted in the past to conduct its county commission meetings at night. It was not well attended. There was just not very much receptivity on this part of our citizens to participate. The city of Tuscaloosa has the benefit of holding a franchise with Comcast. They televise their meetings for free. And I got to stop.
The questions submitted by the community regarding the economy. How would you describe Tuscaloosa County's current economic conditions?
I think I would go back to the document that from the United States Census Bureau that talks about that. It talks about our poverty rate. It talks about our individual mean income, our household income. I think we need to look again at the unemployment rate is unacceptably high. I think we need to look at that we are behind several counties, and they don't have Mercedes. They don't have the industry that we have. I think the best indicator is the facts itself. And when I'm out talking to people, they're concerned about our economy. There are people that are scraping together change to buy milk and to buy fuel. And again, I come back to things like the website. When gas is costing almost $4 a gallon, we ought to be figuring out ways that we can better serve our community.
Again, I submit to you that the best indicator of your economy is sales tax growth, unemployment. Tuscaloosa County has one of the lowest unemployment rates in the state of Alabama. I don't know where the sheriff's getting these numbers, but I'll share this with you. We are below the state average. We are below the national average. Now, we can take numbers. We can take in a college town. We're a college town. And we can isolate 16 to 22, 24-year-olds, and we can say, oh, we have an unemployment rate of 20%. Well, sure, you're going to have that when you're in a college town. So to sit and try to play numbers games, to try to convince you that our economy is in the dumps, I think kind of insults your intelligence. Certainly does mine, because I know better. You know better. And to indicate that your probate judge can determine what the poverty level in a community is.
So, Hardy, I believe you're saying that you're not concerned about the poverty rate, but let's go back and look at these numbers. Madison is at 7.2 unemployment, Shelby at 5.8, Baldwin at 7.4, Lee County at 7.4. We lost General Electric, their aviation plant, to Lee County. Why? One of the reasons was that we weren't pad ready at the airport industrial development site. We need to make ourselves more marketable, and we need to address these issues.
As probate judge, what would be your top 3 priorities for the next term?
In the next term, obviously, I want to continue to promote job and economic development, job creation, diversification of our economy. As we all know, we're linked at the hip with the automotive industry. We need to diversify that where we can. And I'll take exception because it had nothing to do, and the sheriff knows that, if he was involved with economic development. A job-ready site or a pad-ready site had absolutely nothing to do with the decision that was made by General Electric. And I think, to sit and make that, again, is just untrue. And I think he knows that. And those of us that are in economic development know that. And to say otherwise, again, The highway system in this county continues to need improvement. I indicated about the improvements to Highway 69. We've got to deal with the infrastructure needs. We also need to move, we're addressing 69 South, but we need to address 69 North. We need to address and continue to work with the state on building the Eastern Bypass, the link from Tuscaloosa into the interstate system going east. That's a high priority for us. And we're going to continue to work with the state of Alabama and the Department of Transportation to accomplish those identified needs in our transportation plan.
Thank you. I've had the opportunity to talk about what I believe my top three would be already, and that's the economy, modernizing our 911 system, and bringing integrity to the courthouse.
Sheriff Sexton will offer our first closing statement.
You don't need me to tell you that we have a leadership problem in this county. I believe you already know that. I would like to take a moment and just introduce Sean again. Now, Sean was shot by a criminal who was in the county community corrections program but was released and not returned to jail, even though he failed a drug test. And the community corrections program has been under a direct report to the probate judge and was run by Mr. Borso, who was arrested on 23 alleged grand jury indictments. I'm running for probate judge because I will solve these problems. When you elect me, I will. I've told you what I know. I've told you what I'll do. Now I ask you to go talk to your family and your friends, your neighbors, and tell them what you heard today. Because what I have told you is the truth. And I believe you know it is the truth. I need you to talk to your family and your friends and ask them to vote for Ted Sexton for probate judge. I need your support, your prayers, and of course I ask you for your vote. And together we can make Tuscaloosa County a better place for us, our children, our grandchildren. I've done it as sheriff, and I'll do it as probate judge.
Thank you, Terry. Let me again say thank you to the Rotary and for your attention to both the sheriff and myself. Let me let you know that I genuinely and passionately am concerned about our future. Concerned because I want to move Tuscaloosa County forward, just as we have made giant strides over the last several years. Our brightest and best days are ahead of us. But I think that the only way to move forward is from a position of secure strength and conservative government. Government doesn't need to throw money at problems. We need to be problem solvers. I have enjoyed my service to the people of Tuscaloosa County, and I look forward to continuing to serve Tuscaloosa County. Trust is an important part of service. I hope I have never violated the trust of the people of Tuscaloosa County. I've never abandoned my job to go seek another job. I've never sought another higher office. I never have done anything other than to pledge to the people of this county to do my dead level best to move this county forward. Make things better for your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. That continues to be my servant heart's desire. And I look forward to working with each of you as we move forward to ensure the future of Tuscaloosa County is secure. You can have it.
Speak real loud. I want to thank you all for having me here today. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to our candidates for participating in today's forum. Please give them both a round of applause.